You guys knew I wasn't going to just leave you hanging there, especially with the new announcement from the Nintendo Switch 2. This is Salvi, the Mad Salvi, your gamer squirrel here. Of course, I do a lot of game reactions and things like that. So some commentary this time for Nintendo Switch 2. Let's take a look. Of course, that is showing all the stuff for the gaming of the new Mario Kart. It is going to be available June 5th, 2025, Switch 2. Of course, they always have some kind of Mario Kart bundle, and they always have something like that. And of course, it's going to come with a dock. The dock, I believe, is going to be a 4K dock. $499.99 MSRP, the suggested retail price for what's behind me directly, which is the Mario Kart 2 World Bundle. It's a Mario Kart World Bundle with Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo Switch itself is $449. So the game is about $50. It may just be because of the bundle thing, but let's take a look. Let's keep going. Of course, there's all these other things that you can take a look at. Of course, the gaming is going to be much bigger screen. It's 7.9 inches versus 6.2 inches. That's the first thing here. It is thinner, although of course the triggers are a little bit. It looks like a little bit more ergonomic, maybe. It looks about the same width. High definition display, as you can see here. More pixels for more greatness. 1080p at least, which is the bare minimum nowadays. I mean, you know what got them here? Of course, we all know by now what got them here. What got them here was the Steam Deck, showing how well people liked a higher tier one, how much people bought the Steam Deck. It wasn't meant for millions and millions of sales. It was more of a niche product, but still a lot of people bought it. That's why they decided to go bigger. 120 FPS, 120 FPS screen. It's going to be much better as well. That is a Vivid LCD HDR support, so it is going to have some HDR support in there. Joy-Con 2 is attaching magnetically. I believe the Joy-Cons originally the original Joy-Cons had the slider, so that's a little bit different. I'm kind of iffy on that on the whole thing because you can still fall out. I hope that the magnets are strong enough so that there's not going to be an issue with anything like that. And of course, okay, they just show right there. It's going to be stronger. Built-in mic for easy voice chatting. So they're going to have from what it looks like, a voice, kind of like a Discord call type of thing that you can do. So it's game, noise, and voice. So the noise, surrounding noise, looks like it's going to have a passive filter for that, an active filter maybe, 2 USB-C ports, as was shown in the leaks in the original part, a top one, a bottom one, one for the dock, and I guess you can put things there. Of course, they are also going to be having that lovely little camera that you just saw there. That camera is another addition to it that you see right here. That one is going to be added to it because of the chatting option that they're going to be adding to it as well. So of course, the new dock, 4K support. That means it's going to be able to output 4K. It does look like it actually has a fan built in so that it can actually help that out. That only is with the dock, of course. Fan ventilation for powerful cooling. So yes, like I said, they are going to be having fans there. It's a faster system. System on a chip is going to be a bit faster. It's going to be either overclocked or a bit faster overall. So of course, you're seeing all these things there, all the little parts of the games. You have the C button there, which allows things, for the calls and things like that. Game chat, that kind of stuff in there. Basically, like I said, it is pretty much a Discord-based call system. If you've ever used Discord, that is very, very, very much like a Discord call. It is very, very reminiscent of that. I don't know how good the quality of the mic is going to be. It remains to be seen. The fact that you can talk from that far away usually means muddied stuff. And of course, you're also going to have very low quality from what it looks like, very choppy from what it looks like on the things that you were able to see below of the actual voice calls here. You see there? That looked very choppy, but it's only kind of like as a preview of what's going on, of course. And you have all these different games, game share as well, where you can share with console without a game, up to 3 different consoles without a game. Local play, of course. You can't just do it everywhere. It's basically if you have friends over, they don't have the game that you're playing, for example, whether it be Mario Party or something like that. I'm guessing it depends on the game. Yellow Nintendo Switch Lite system only available at Nintendo stores. That's what they're mentioning there. But yeah, you can share to up to 3 other people without the game. There's going to be, of course, limitations. You can't share like Tears of the Kingdom. You can't share those types of games. So it is that type of stuff. But look, like I said, you have Mario Party, the games that are specifically meant for that. Like right here, you have the ones that have game share. Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, you have Super Mario 3D World, and Bowser's Fury. You have Clubhouse Games, the ones, the Pekora and other people from HoloLive play that a lot. Big Brain Academy, Gura has played that one before, and of course Mario Odyssey. And those are the ones that are out there right now. And of course, they have a variety. Mario Kart World, they have a variety, as you can see here. Just some of those games that you can see there. Let me just pause it for you so you can get a good idea of what it's going to be. These are the games. You can see Pikmin 4, Kirby, you can see Splatoon 3, Mario Odyssey, Super Smash Bros., Super Mario Maker 2, that kind of stuff. There's several there. They're going to be Nintendo Switch 2 editions of Super Mario Jamboree, Jamboree TV, Breath of the Wild, with, of course, Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo Switch 2 editions, which is basically going to be like a PS5 Pro edition or PS4 Pro edition, a updated edition that can actually run at the full 60 frames per second that the games didn't used to be able to run on. So that's also very nice to look at. Enhanced resolution with better frame rates, actually be able to run it well. A lot of things are going to be updated for Nintendo Switch 2. It sucks if you already have the game. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be compatible with the Nintendo Switch 2, like backwards compatible, because they have to make money. So it's going to be just, you're going to have to buy the new version in order to get the better visuals. It makes sense, but I would have loved it instead if, you know, people who already had the game could actually, you know, have it that way. From what it looks like, it's just an extra, it could be an extra couple of bucks. We don't know everything fully, but we do know that they are upgrading some of the visuals here. At least I don't know fully, but that is still good. Kirby's Air Raiders, you have all these other games, Donkey Kong Bonanza, you have Elden Ring, because finally able to show up on Nintendo Switch, because the original one would not have been able to run it even at 30 frames per second. The Steam Deck could, but not this one. Because Nintendo Switch is a very closed-off system. So, of course, now they have Elden Ring. It's going to come in 2025, as you see there. You have other games here. Street Fighter 6. You're going to also have game special matches. 26 characters in there. Usually the fighting games, like if you remember, the Nintendo Switch Mortal Kombat one was really bad. And I do mean really bad. You have Madden. I'm skipping through a lot of these things. You have, of course, Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 3 and 4. Basically versions for that. Hitman World of Assassination, Yakuza 0, Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy VII the remake is going to be, of course, on there as well. You have, of course, Tears of the Kingdom, a story leading into Tears of the Kingdom. So that's something new that's going to pop out. So let's see there. And, of course, Wind Waker, which is super popular, was a super popular game for GameCube, is, of course, going to be on the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't have any of the sounds of these games because, of course, Nintendo can be very, very restrictive on these things, and that's why I kind of speed things up. And, of course, F-Zero GX, which is good. And the Nintendo Switch 2 carts are distinguishable from the Nintendo Switch regulars. So every Nintendo Switch 2 cart is going to be red. The additional storage up to, I'm pretty sure, up to a terabyte. But right now, of course, you have to get specific ones that work well with that. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a compatibility list later on. But right now, of course, they're always going to do that. These usually tend to be twice or 3 times the price. So wait for a compatibility list, and hopefully they have that for you eventually. And of course, you have the micro SD cards. You have the fact that you can use that, as they did verify here. You can use the Joy-Cons as a mouse. You can actually use the Joy-Cons as a mouse. And of course, the Joy-Cons just as regular Joy-Cons. You can do that there. It looks like it has better recognition for a lot of things. So that is very nice. That is very nice. And of course, the camera is kind of something that can be used here. Of course, the actual internal storage moved from 32 gigabytes to 256. So you can hold more games in there as well. Everything is looking up. Everything is looking up. 4K support with the dock. Of course, as I mentioned before, it has another extra fan for cooling, which I don't think the other dock had. There were docks that had it. They can buy it off the shelf, but this one didn't. This is a bit of a longer one for me, but it is nice to see everything. And I do want to kind of go back to the camera because it doesn't show it here in the video I have here, but I did see during the Nintendo Direct that they will be having kind of a Kinect style moving thing where you can kind of have games that are like that from what I was able to see. Of course, this is, I don't think this is going to work with VTubing. I don't think this camera is going to be compatible with VTubing, but, you know, since I'm a VTuber, I worry about those things. This is more of an IRL face camera that you have with family and friends and things like that. So the Nintendo Switch is popping out to be a good one, Nintendo Switch 2. They did a lot of upgrades. It's going to be more like, I guess, PS4 level graphics. So it's still several generations behind, but being a handheld at 1080p, at 256 gigabytes of space, and all those upgrades and all those things, and I finally able to run some games at 60 frames per second, it is a good enough upgrade. Now, if it is good enough for $449, for me, I'll wait and see. I'll have to wait and see about the full-on reviews of it. I may end up getting it myself. We will see. I will let you guys know if I have it or not. But of course, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me and watching this, because I am very, very excited. And I blabbed for how long about this situation, because I'm very, very excited about what's going on here. And I hope that I didn't ramble on too much. Thank you for being here. I do hope you enjoyed this. And of course, this is the Mad Salvi, your gaming squirrel over here that does gaming and other things like this on this channel. I do appreciate you for being here as always. I will see you guys next time. Have a good one. Enjoy your day. And hopefully you get the Nintendo Switch 2 if it does fit your fancy. Bye-bye.